Hello, this is going to be a short tutorial on how to use the toolbar in Google Sheets and what the different tool functions serve. So to get started, I'm going to put some data in the spreadsheet for us to work with, and we're going to make this again similar to my demo being, a test gradebook. So right now I have student name that I've typed in the top left cell. I'm going to now type in test 1. Now, something that you can do that's very handy is instead of right-clicking and copying and then pasting and changing the number, you could save your life a whole lot of time by just going to the bottom right corner of test 1, hold down the left button on your mouse, and drag across the top of the row to wherever you want to stop for the number of tests you want to create. So I stopped at 11. So it auto does the test and it auto does the number increment. Now please note, if you just do test, let me do undo in the top left of the toolbar. If you just do test and you drag it across, well, it's only going to copy test. It's not going to do test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Vice versa, let me hit undo. If I just put 1 up here and then I just drag across, it's not going to go up in increments. It's literally just going to copy and paste everything that you put there. So just some tips and tricks on how to do this. So I'm going to type test 1, and then I'm on the bottom right, I'm going to drag across the top, and I have all my tests generated for me and the number increments increased for me. All right, now next, some things on the toolbar that I want to cover. I'm going to cover this in a second. This is how you change the format of your numbers, but I don't have any numbers in here yet, so we're going to kind of skip this section. I'm now going to work with this section right here, which is how you can change your font and your border lines of your cells in your spreadsheet. So I'm going to highlight, left click and highlight the top row, and this is where I can come in and change the font of the words in the spreadsheet. We're going to leave it Arial. I can come over and say, okay, I want it to be 12. I want it to be bold. This is where I can change the color. I want it to be red. Let's make it white. Now we can't see it, but if I go to the paint bucket, I'm going to change the fill color of the background and we'll make it red. So that really contrasts and stands out. But you can see it's kind of blurry, so let's maybe drop the font down to 11 and maybe let's not make it bold. So that's how you can easily edit the font and the fill background in the cells in Sheets. Now the next thing to kind of do here, this is just strike throughing. It's just basically you're marking out whatever it is on the sheet that you want to mark out. Just want to explain that. So again, text color, background color. Bold, italicized. This is the font size. This is the font you want to find and use in your spreadsheet. All right, but what if you want to change the border around it? So you come over to where it says borders, and this is basically where you can say what you want to affect. So if I only want to affect the border that goes around just the outside edge of the entire area that I've highlighted, I would click this one. And now I can change a specific color. So I'm going to make something that really stands out, maybe do blue. Notice it's a light blue that you see. And then if I want to make it thicker, I can come down below and change the thickness of the line. And you can see now that I've given it a defined blue background. Now notice it only affected the outside area of the cells. If I want to affect the inside area, let me just click on test 6. I go to borders, and this is where I can select just the inside area. So again, this wouldn't really pertain to it because I don't have anything inside that cell with lines going like that. I would need more cells to do that. But if I wanted to affect the sides, like right here, I could do this and I could do this, and you can see now that I've got a blue line coming right here on the left and the right side of the cell. So if you ever want to change the border colors or the thickness of your border lines, that's easy to do. I'm just going to undo what I did and continue on. Now again, alignment up here, this is easy. If you want your text to be centered, you can just click on the cell and hit center for the text, or you can hit left justify or right justify. I would imagine all of these columns would need to be center justified. All right, and let's go ahead and put some student names in. So I'm going to go ahead and put student 1. And then just like test, I'm going to click on the bottom right corner of that cell and drag down to let's say row 31. So we have 30 students now entered in here. And then I'm going to change the background by left click and dragging the cells and selecting them. And let's change the background with fill color to a dark gray, so that kind of pops out. And let's give the border a black border, like so. And here we go. And let's select this. And I may want to define it, so let's go ahead and select everything. Now that is kind of a lot, but you can do that. I wouldn't recommend doing all of the cells with that border. So let's just do something like, now we got to get rid of it. So to get rid of it, what we're going to do is do no borders, get rid of that, and then let's do this again. Let's just do the outside edge and black, and then let's make it there. Let's make it right about there. Perfect. Okay, now the next thing is let's enter some numbers. So let's enter in 90, and then I'm just, for the sake of the video, going to drag down, and for the sake of the video, drag across, and you can see I just entered a lot of numbers really quickly by copying and pasting, by dragging. So now what I was telling you, so let's select this column by clicking on B, and let's go and change the decimal. So if I don't want 0.00, all I have to do is click right here and on the point decimal to the left, and there it's just 90. If I want a decimal to the right, again, I can do that. Next, if I don't want it as a number but I want it as a percent, I would do that, and again I would move the decimal over. Now let me undo that and get rid of that by going back to where it just says number. And to get rid of that scenario, now if I hit percent, I should be a percentage, or if I do money, it's money. So keep in mind when you're working with the numbers, you can easily change the format of the number like so. So you can even make it a time, you can even make it a date. So this is how you can easily change what you're working with in the program. So I've got 90. Now if you want it to be 90%, you're going to need a decimal place to continue to move over, and you need it actually on the left side of it. So if I do 0.90 and then I come over here and go to percent, now it's going to show 90% correctly. So just kind of explaining why that will work a certain way. So let me hit undo and go back to where we were at. All right, so I'm going to highlight all of these and I'm not using percents, move the decimal over, so they're all good to go. All right, so now the next thing I want to cover is how you align your text and how you adjust it. So let's make the cell bigger. So I drag right here on the edge of the line, and I can make a cell bigger manually. Again, if you make your text bigger or you put more information, it will sometimes increase it, especially if you wrap the text. So now I click on 90, and right now, what if I want my 90 at the top of the cell? I can easily do that by coming here and saying I want it in the middle or I want it at the bottom. So that's how you can adjust where your text goes. Again, you would only do this if your cell was larger, and this is an example of how to adjust that. Now wrapping is easy. So let me go in here and type a real long sentence in the cell. All right, so now when I did that, you can see it disappeared, because right now manually it's just telling you it's going to continue to overflow, but you're not going to see it. That actually is this one right here. It's where it's clipping. But if I click right here on the text wrapping and I hit wrap in the middle, it keeps all my text in the cell for me. Now again, if your cell is too small, it may not look right. So you're going to have to be a little bit careful about how you put your information in there. Notice if I do this one, you can't see what's happening. And same thing with clipping, you can't see what's happening, it's gone. So choose the one that best suits your sheet that you're working in. All right, so the next thing on the toolbar is going to be the text rotation. So let's go back and get rid of all this information that I typed and delete it. What if I want my student name angled? So I can click on the text and I can adjust the angle manually right here. So I can say do a 15% line. Let me undo that. Or I can come in and just do this. All right, and it will adjust it for me. So easy peasy on how you can adjust the text. All right, and same thing like so. Now I would recommend not doing the background right now, so watch if I don't do the background and I get rid of the lines. So let's get rid of my lines. Notice that that helped get rid of what you saw with the lines going across. Now, if I highlight it and I go to my fill color, it'll keep and retain the format that I want, and the same thing right here. So it's going to actually rotate it. So don't do that. Let's see if I can keep the line. So it's actually angling the cell format, so just be wary of that when you're working with the program. All right, next I want to show you is how to do the rest of the toolbar. You're going to have your link, comments, charts, filter, where you can drill down in the filter and sort through your information and basically insert a function or look for more functions that you want to use within your sheet. So if you want to insert a link, let's say like if you click here, let's just say I want to go somewhere. I'll click right here and say go to Google. And so if anyone clicks on that, they're going to go to that hyperlink Google, and it's going to take them there. If I want somebody who's collaborating in the document, I can go insert a comment and say something important or something I need help with. And I can enter that comment right there. And then anyone who clicks on that will see that comment that's in the sheet, and they can highlight over it. Again, you can hit resolve, they can reply to it, they can delete it. However you want to work with your collaboration is up to y'all. Now, if I highlight and click everything on the sheet and then go over to chart, it'll generally auto create a chart for you with whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Now, I'll go into more detail about how to manage this chart and make tweaks to it so it doesn't look so crowded, or to make it look better. But that's basically how you can insert a chart. To make it more simple looking, if I just come over here and go to test 1 and 2 and insert a chart, you can see there's not many tests in that chart. Now everybody's got a 90, so it all looks the same. But just wanted to show you how to do that. If I wanted to do a simple function down here to do the average, which we know is a 90, I would go to functions and go average. And then it'll insert that for me, and all I'd have to do is click and drag the range that I wanted to do an average for and hit enter, and there's my average 90. If I want to do the sum of all the numbers, meaning just add them all up, I'll click and drag up in the range and hit enter, and there's the sum of all the numbers. If I want to count the number of test items, so there should be 30. There's 30 entries right there with just the basic count function. If you want to know the max and min, you just click max, highlight your range, and hit enter, and there's the max score. Obviously, the min score is going to be the same as 90. We can change that though. Highlight and enter. Watch if I come in here and hit 20, hit enter. Well, there's your min score. What if I made this 100? Well, there's your max score. And again, if I delete a row, right here, let me delete this row, right click delete, you see that changed to 29. And obviously that number changed. And obviously if you come in here and change these numbers around and put in some different numbers, you will see that the average for that column is changing for you dynamically. So that is basically how to utilize all the tools that you see up here. I did miss one that says merge. So if I come over to student 1 and 2 and I say merge all, it's going to merge those cells together. And so I lost one because it was a vertical merge. So let me hit undo. This one is a little easier. If I highlight these two and say, okay, let's merge the cells, it means it's going to keep that one value and it's going to put the cells together. So if you ever have to bring cells together, that's how you do it. A way that I do it is come up to the top and insert a row above, and I want all of these cells to merge. So I'm going to say merge cells horizontally, and then I want my text in the middle, and then I want my text that's good to go, so I'm going to say demo. So this shows the text in the center, and I have one row that's just one big cell. So that's kind of how you can use the merge function. Lastly, this is the paint tool. That's where you can basically select a font that you like, and then you can come around on everything and it copies the font for you. So I'm going to undo that, but that's how you can just copy something really quick and not have to do the font, the size, and all the different background for it. Thank you so much for watching this short tutorial on the toolbar and sheets. I hope it helped you out, and thank you so much for watching.